Hello YouTube, how's everyone doing? It's Professional here. Welcome back to my playthrough of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. I'm really sorry that I wasn't able to have a part up for you guys the other day. I was just busy with Ghost of Tsushima, but here we are. We're now on the next part. We're going to be doing this case. We're going to get to the bottom of this because I'm really freaked out on what the hell happened in Mr. Windibank's pawnbrokery. So last time, there was a murder. I think it was a murder at least. I think Windibank is dead. So Herlock Sholmes got shot. And then when we opened up the door in the storeroom. It's Gina. So she has a gun in her hand and Mr. Windibank is dead. From that moment, Windibank's pawnbrokery became a crime scene. Everything that followed happened in a whirlwind of activity. The arrival of the police, the preliminary investigation of the scene, and the questioning. It was just before dawn, before I was allowed back to my lodgings at 221 Baker Street. April, 6:21 a.m. Naruhodo's legal counsel's consultancy. So they didn't have a lot of sleep that night. Oh, Iris. A telegram came, but all it said was, "Wait at home." Oh, yes, we asked one of the policemen to have it sent. It was simply impossible to come back. When I woke up, I was all alone. Hurley and Ginny were gone. Everyone was gone. What happened, Runo? Poor Iris, she's trembling. She's obviously trying very hard not to let herself get too worried. I'll explain everything that I know. Something awful has happened, hasn't it? Yes, I'm afraid so. I'm sorry to have to tell you this, Iris, but Mr. Windibank is dead. He was shot. We discovered it in the early hours of the morning. Oh, yes, I had a feeling. You did. Well, I saw all those police carriages pulling up outside his shop, so I knew something must have happened there. When we entered Windibank's in the small hours, we disturbed a gang of 2 thugs. They ran out onto the street and I chased after them, but they got away. So, it was one of them who shot Mr. Windibank, I suppose. I don't know, but that's not what the police believe at the moment. Oh? Why not? They've arrested someone else as their prime suspect, you see. Gina. Ginny? But why? Well, the thing is... No, Ginny wouldn't do something like that. I know. None of us think she did it. That's why... Then why have they arrested her? I'm sorry, there was nothing I could do. Talk about Gina's arrest. I don't understand why they arrested Ginny. It's not fair. What about the 2 thugs that were at the scene? Why aren't they the prime suspects? After all, they shot Hurley dead, didn't they? No. I mean, Mr. Sholmes isn't dead, Iris. This is all so horrible. The thing is, Mr. Windibank was found on the floor in the storeroom, where he keeps all the deposited articles. And the storeroom door was locked from the inside. I see. But he wasn't alone in there. Gina was found next to him on the floor as well. Oh no. And according to the detectives who investigated afterwards... Don't tell me. There was no one else in the room. Yes, exactly. How did you know? It's the only explanation. Yes, the only explanation indeed. What do you mean by that, Runo? Well, what can I say? I'm damned if I agree, damned if I don't. So where's Hurley then? Is he still there investigating the scene? He really ought to have some breakfast. It's not good for him to miss meals. I don't want you to worry, Iris, but I have some news about Mr. Sholmes. He was taken to the hospital this morning. What? Well, when we entered Windibank's, a gun was fired, and he took a bullet. Hurley was shot? No, 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 no. It's alright, it's alright. His life isn't in danger. Really? Are you sure? Where is he? Which hospital? He's at St. Sinners. They're tending to him there. I must see him at once. I'm sorry, Iris, but you can't. Why not? That's not fair. I'm a family member. I should be allowed. No, I mean, nobody can see him at the moment. He's not allowed any visitors. They're preparing to operate, you see. To operate? Oh, poor Hurley. Oh, injured Sholmes. Now we got another one. It was the two thugs that were in, who were in Mr. Windibank's shop. They shot Mr. Sholmes when we disturbed them, you see. It was pitch black inside the shop at the time. My mind went totally blank, I'm afraid. I just froze. After them. Go. After that, I ran out onto the street, but... well, they were long gone. I shouldn't have hesitated. I'm so sorry. It's my fault. I let them get away. I think... that's a very good thing. Sorry? Well, if you'd seen which way they went and chased after them, you might have been shot as well, Bruno. On top of everything else, I couldn't bear that. Oh, Iris. Suzato's situation. Where's Susie, Bruno? She's still at the police station. Oh, why? I expect she's still being questioned. The police said they wouldn't be finished for a while. Why aren't you there then? Well, I didn't get a good look at the criminals anyways, so they weren't questioning me for long. And Miss Suzato stayed behind at the scene to tend to Mr. Sholmes, so they didn't get started until later. Ah, I see. Besides, one of us had to come back to be with Iris. I'm glad Inspector Gregson agreed to me leaving early. You should have let me know, and I would have come to the station. This is all getting, kind of crazy. What's going on here? I'm afraid I'll need to go out again, Irish. There's not much I can do at the moment. But I can at least try to find out how Mr. Sholmes and Gina are getting on. I want to go too. Take me with you, Bruno. I can't stand just sitting around here waiting. I'm not sure how I feel about taking a 10-year-old child to the scene of a murder. But I don't want to leave her all alone here either. Alright then, Iris. Perhaps you can help me. Oh yes, I'd love to. Gina's at the prison. Mr. Sholmes is probably in his hospital bed. So, Gina wouldn't be in prison. She'd be held in jail until her trial. There's a difference between jail and prison. And don't forget we have to visit the crime scene. We need to conduct a thorough investigation. I can see you're ready for action. I imagine Iris would appreciate going to the hospital sooner rather than later. Okay. Okay, where are we, oh, we got a lot of places to visit right now. Nothing here, Baker Street. The police officer here. There's still a Scotland Yard carriage outside Windibank's. I never imagined we'd be investigating a case so close to home. Poor Iris, she's very upset by all this. I'm sorry, I was there. I should have done more. None of this is your fault, Bruno. So please, don't apologize. But it's the criminals who are to blame for all this. So let's investigate and work out how to catch them. Yes, you're right. Okay, let's go inside the pawn store, see what happened. This is where it happened, then. Last night. That's right. The two thugs I told you about were obviously ransacking the place, looking for valuables. But, apart from the policeman in here, you wouldn't know anything had happened. There's no sign of a disturbance. No, you're right about that, actually. In fact, if anyone, it's the police who seem to be the ones doing the ransacking. I know what you mean. They're like a gang of organized criminals, all dressed in black. Oh, I heard that. Oh, it's Inspector Gregson. Oh, Inspector, good morning. I suppose I ought to thank you for your vigilance last night. We got to the scene before it was disturbed, at least. Shame you let the 2 rogues get away, mind. Yes, I'm sorry about that. I thought you'd assigned extra men to the beat around here, Gregsy. Now look what's happened. Hurley's been injured because there weren't enough police on duty. Ah. Your ladyship. No one told me you were coming. I expect you to take full responsibility for what happened to Hurley and see he has the very best medical care. Of course, your ladyship. The very best doctors in the capital are tending to him as we speak. And I don't think it's Runo's fault that the rogues managed to get away, is it? Chasing criminals is the police's job. Absolutely, your ladyship. As you say, ma'am, as you say. The gent in black is totally blameless. Everyone's in agreement about that. Would you believe it? He's like a completely different person with Iris. Talk about personality change. Oh, where are me manners? Are you thirsty, your ladyship? Perhaps you'd like some juice. Some nice, refreshing fruit juice. Why does he always act like this around Iris? Oh, why? Are you thirsty, Gregsy? I have some of my special herbal tea here with me if you'd like some. Lovely. Very much. That really hit the spot, your ladyship. I don't even recognize him like this. The investigation. So, how is the investigation going, Inspector? Nothing to it, really. Very simple case, this. There's some very definitive evidence. We're just about to charge that diver we arrested last night, in fact. Gina, you're going to charge her? That's right. Should be able to bring her before the judge at the Bailey tomorrow. Definitive evidence, you say? What is it? Come on, show me. Your ladyship, as much as I wish I could oblige you, I'm afraid. I see. You've already captured the pair of thugs who broke in here last night, have you? What the... And you're going to put them on the stand as witnesses, are you? How could you... How could you possibly know that? I had a feeling, that's all. Remind me never to try to keep a secret from Iris. So you've arrested the 2 men who shot Mr. Sholmes, have you? Well, yes. They were rounded up pretty quickly by the lads on the beat. And Miss Lestrade is being held at the prison? She should be. That's assuming she hasn't lifted the key from the jailer, of course. Mr. Sholmes. Can you tell us anything about Mr. Sholmes? What's his condition? Sorry, I'm not at liberty to divulge that information. Scotland Yard matters are strictly confidential. Well, I know he's being operated on at St. Sinners. Why can't I see him? I'm family, you know. I'm terribly sorry, your ladyship. It's the hospital's policy, no visiting at all. Oh. The bullet must have hit an artery in his midriff. He's lost a fair bit of blood. Oh no. He didn't seem too bad in the first hour or so, but a hemorrhage like that is enough to make even the one and only Sholmes pipe down. Mr. Sholmes is a human like the rest of us, you know. Well, anyway, he's having emergency surgery right now. They've got to stop that bleeding. But he will be alright, won't he? They'll be able to make him better? Of course, your ladyship. He'll be right as rain before you know it. Really? How do you know? How do I know? Well, because... Of course. Yes, because Mr. Sholmes is such a great detective, that's why. We better pray the doctors have a better grasp of what's needed to make someone well again. Oh dear. Please don't die, Hurley. I'll report to your ladyship the moment I hear he's out of the operating theater. Her ladyship. I couldn't help noticing, Inspector. What? Out with it, sunshine. Well, there seems to be a marked difference between the way you talk to me and Iris. Watch the sauce, Sonny. I'm a copper, and we don't go in for favoritism. But he's right. You do treat us differently. It's because of those adventures of Herlock Sholmes stories. That's why. Oh. I crop up in them, don't I? Inspector Tobias Gregson. Oh, well, yes, because you're an acquaintance of Hurley's. What did you write about the inspector, Irish? I don't remember, really. It was one of Sholmes' lines. Gregson is the smartest of the Scotland Yarders, is how he put it. Oh, did I write that? And you know what the one line did for me, eh? The very next month, my pay doubled. Doubled, I tell you. Oh, that's amazing. All because everyone at the yard reads them. They read all the Herlock Sholmes stories. They've even set up a fan club for me. Of course, that explains everything. It was around that time that you became such a toady to me. Can you blame me? All it'd take is one bad word from you and Sholmes could change his tune about me. Gregson, no. The great detective will say, he's getting quite overrated these days. Think what would happen to my salary if that came out to print, eh? The whole thing gives me the willies. I can't tell you how many nights of sleep I've lost worrying about it. But that would never happen, Gregsy. Every month when the new Rance magazine comes out, my hands are trembling as I turn the pages. Oh, how awful for you. Here, have some of my tea to settle your nerves. That's not how you drink tea. You're gonna burn yourself. Lovely. Lovely ta very much. That really hit the spot, your ladyship. Teetotal. Oh yeah. There's something I was supposed to talk to you about actually, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, what is it? I've got an important message for you. I clean forgot about it until now. An important message. I wonder what it could be. The important message, what is it here? Are you going to tell me what this important message is then, Inspector? Yeah, it's about that young lady who's normally by your side, your assistant. Dear Susie, is she alright? She's at the station, isn't she? Being questioned, I believe. No, not anymore. She had to head off. Head off? Where? To Lord Strongheart's office, of course. He summoned her. Ah, yes, of course. I'd forgotten about that. One of the whipstocks took her there in a yard carriage after we finished questioning her. But she asked us to tell you she didn't have the fare for the return journey and to go meet her there. She's got a nerve. Using Scotland Yard as a blooming messaging service. I see. Well, thank you for passing that on, Inspector. Why did Susie have to go see the Lord Chief Justice? I don't know. She didn't tell me. But I'd better head over to the Lord Chief Justice's office to fetch her straight away. The police are scouring every inch of this place by the look of it. Instructions from the yard are to examine every article in the shop and every ledger and book of accounts. Every article, but that's a ridiculous amount of work, surely. We've been hard at it ever since the shop was declared a crime scene in the early hours. We're sifting through it all in the shifts at least, but still. We'll be working through the night, that's for sure. And even then, we'll barely have scratched the surface. Crime in a pawnbroker's. It must be every policeman's worst nightmare. It's every copper's worst nightmare, you know, a crime in a pawnbroker's. Well, he just said that. Alright then, let's see what we can uncover. Oh, what do you think you're doing, Sunshine? You can't touch anything in here. Oh, but we were hoping to investigate. This is a crime scene for Pete's sake. No touching. What's the problem, Gregsy? Runo's a lawyer, you know that. Oh, I'm ever so sorry, your ladyship. Ever so sorry. The rules and regulations are a thorn in my side. Of course, if Mr. Naruhodo was to have been properly appointed by the accused, that'd be another matter. The accused. If you could show me some representation papers, I'd only be happy to let you know is around. I guess we better go get those. Did you hear that, Runo? You need Ginny to sign some representative papers. It looks like presenting the detective here with the correct paperwork is the only way. Okay. Wow, there's a lot of places for us to go here. Lord Chief Justice's office. British Supreme Court, Lord Chief Justice's office. Yes. No matter how many times I come here, I always get the same sense of oppressiveness somehow. Do you think the place is oppressive? I think it's normal. How so? I mean, look at that suit of armor over there. You can't take that seriously, can you? Maybe it thinks the same about you. So everything is clear with regards to tomorrow's arrangements, I trust. Yes, thank you very much. What arrangements? There they are, Suzato's son and Lord Strongheart. I wonder what they're talking about. They both look very serious. Very good. There is nothing further to discuss. You may return to your lodgings. No doubt you have much to do in preparation for your return to your homeland. Wait, what did he just say? Your return to your homeland. Suzato-san. Well, I wonder what is going on here. There's birds in this building? Mr. Naruhado. What was all that about? Ah, Mr. Naruhado. Thank you for coming to collect your colleague. What's all this? What's this all about? Why were you talking about Miss Suzato's return to her homeland? And tomorrow? Tomorrow? What about Ginny's trial? You mean she's been formally charged now? Oh dear. This is a nightmare. Returning to our homeland. Miss Suzato, what's all this about? Oh, please don't concern yourself, Mr. Naruhado. It's only me going back to Japan. Your life here can continue just as it has. That's not what I asked. What happened? Why are you leaving? It's my father. He's fallen ill. Oh no. Professor Mikotoba? If I may... Yes, sorry? You must be the defendant. Ryunosuke Naruto, I believe. Yes, that's right. My name is Yujin Mikotoba. I'm a professor of forensic medicine at Yume University. We received an international telegram from the Empire of Japan informing us of the news. 10 days ago, Father collapsed with a fever. The cause is apparently unknown, and it seems he grows weaker day by day. I don't believe it. As you are aware, the voyage from here to your country's capital, Tokyo, takes some 50 days. I thought it would be prudent to hasten Miss Suzato's departure as much as possible. Yes, absolutely. I will leave London first thing tomorrow morning. I can't believe this is happening. Gina's trial. So Gina has been charged? She'll have to appear in court? Yes, she was formally charged a few hours ago, and the date of the trial has already been set for tomorrow. No, not even 24 hours later? Gina. Ah, the Lestrade girl, and the murder of the Baker Street pawnbroker, yes. All too, conspicuous case. The pickpocket was clearly disturbed mid-robbery and shot the man in a panic. No, the yard is overstretched as it is without wasting time on these open and shut cases. It's not wasting time. Ginny would never do something like that. Mr. Naruto. Oh, yes, Lord Strongheart? In defense of your fine services today, I shall overlook this young girl's insolence. But I have no recollection of admitting a child into my office. Leave. Now. Of course, Lord Strongheart. Criminals will tell the most palpable lies in order to evade justice. The police can ill afford the time it takes to unravel all their untruths. Meanwhile, more crimes are perpetrated. We have far more serious matters with which to contend. Serious matters? Didn't Gregson mention something like that yesterday? Yes, Inspector Gregson made a similar remark yesterday. It's a no concern of yours, though. I'm sure I need not remind you of that. "3 minutes precisely until my next meeting. You must excuse me." Oh, this guy's really crazy with his time. There's just one more thing, Lord Strongheart, which is... It's Miss Lestrade's trial. I wonder if you might permit me to defend her. timely suggestion. Sorry? The girl currently has no representation. But, that's not fair. Yes, she may be a pickpocket, but she still deserves a fair trial. Do not misunderstand me, young lady. The government provides for those too poor to afford representation with a public defender. The accused need only sign relevant paperwork, and a defense barrister will be assigned to the case. However, the young girl in question has refused that right. Why would she do that? A question you would do well to direct at Miss Lestrade. You'll find her at the local prison. Yes, thank you. Now then, it's time I was leaving. Good day to you. What a day. Gina charged with murder. Suzato's son about to leave. This is going crazy. Come, Mr. Naruto. Iris, we must make haste. So I was reading his name wrong. It's Mr. Naruto, apparently. I believe, but I've been reading it Naruto. But Susie, you're leaving for Japan tomorrow morning, aren't you? Don't you have packing and things to do? As Mr. Naruto's judicial assistant, my personal circumstances are of no consequence. My sole purpose remains to help you in whatever way I can. Thank you, Miss Suzato. That's a very pensive look. If I'm honest, this has completely thrown me off. I'll just have to do what I can as a lawyer. Okay. Let's go to the prison. '16th April, local prison, cell 13. Hello, Gina. She still has that in prison? How did she get that? Oh, you still have the grenade launcher Hurley and I made. I wish she wouldn't point it at me all the time, though. What are you here for? Ginny, I have a feeling it's because of us that you've ended up in trouble. So we're thinking that we might be able to help you. Well, you can't. Sorry. You erred. Get lost. Don't be like that, Ginny. I know you didn't do it. You'd never shoot someone. I just know you wouldn't. You think you know me. Pull the other one. Oh. You ain't got the first idea about the likes of me. I'm a thief. I pinch people's purses when they're walking down the street. That's how I get by. And if I saw the chance, I'd sneak into a pawn shop any day of the week. Just to see what I could lay me hands on, get it? That's the kind of person I am. But Ginny, I'll be in court tomorrow, they said. Some cove came by before he said, he'd be a lawyer for me like that, said it was my right or something. But I told him, to get stuffed. I don't need no lawyer, I don't need no one. She couldn't be staring at me any more obviously she tried. Why are you being like this, Ginny? Ouch. That is one stern look Suzato-san is giving Gina. I don't understand, Gina. Why did you send the public defender away? He wanted me to sign some papers, representation papers or something like that. It's all gonna be rigged anyway, the whole trial. They'll pin it on me because I'm a kid. That's what grown-ups always do. Why do you think that? Because that's how it's always been for me, growing up in the back slums, me whole life. If you do what the grown-ups tell you, it'll get your mates dragged off by the coppers, or worse. I've had it happen to me before and all, been sold out and nearly snaffled on the back of it. You can't trust no one, that's the point. As soon as you do, you're gone to grass, dead. Gina, listen. If you like, in tomorrow's trial, I could. Forget it. Ginny, don't you trust Runo? Nah, I don't. Look, I'll ask you nicely now. Just leave me alone. What happened? Will you tell us what happened, Gina? Last night at the pawnbroker's. There's nothing to tell. I figured it'd pay me, so I broke into the place and started going through the storeroom. But the old bloke walked in on me and you know, the rest. But why, Ginny? Why would you do that? Ain't it obvious? The place is full of stuff I could sell for a shilling or two. Diving ain't easy, you know. It's a lot of work, and half the time you don't ever get nothing. But she didn't admit to killing him yet. Is that really why you broke into the place? What? Are you sure? The true reason wasn't something else. Oh, give it a rest. What there the point be anyway, eh? Nothing I could say would make a blind bit of difference. Please tell us, Ginny. We'll believe you, whatever it is. Believe me, don't be daft. You can't believe nothing. Everyone lies all the time. And you know what? When it comes to liars, I'm the biggest of the lot. I've told some unforgivable lies, I have. What? What do you mean by that? What unforgivable lies? She's probably gonna bring up McGilded. What did you mean before, Gina, when you said you were the biggest liar of the lot? She's probably covered for McGilded. Why don't you tell us what these unforgivable lies you've told are? Maybe we can help. Sorry. We're out of time. They're gonna wanna question me now. She's talking about the McGilded case, I believe. Ginny, please. Oh, yeah. I wanted to give you this, something to remember me by. A photographic print of a really adorable cat? I found it in one of the pockets in the coat. Ain't no point me having it. I wonder what a little photograph like that was doing in a pocket of that overcoat. Anyway, don't bother coming again. Bye. Oh, Ginny. Photograph depicting a sweet little white cat obtained from Ginny while interviewing her in her prison cell. Would you have a look at, that's strange. Where's my armband gone? What's the problem? Something wrong? Don't suppose you're looking for this? Yes, but how? And when? And how again? I got a talent for it, haven't I? Diving. That's bordering on black magic. And it makes what I was about to say about my armband seem a little dull. So, what do you want to tell me about it then? Gina, about this photograph. Oh, I just found it in one of the pockets of this coat, that's all. Chuck it if you don't want it. So McGilda didn't give it to her. There's something written on the back, I think. There is. Don't mean nothing to me, though. I don't read so well anyway, especially not that scrawl. I really ought to examine the photograph more thoroughly, I think. Oh, I accidentally presented again. What's this? Look on the back of the print here. There's something written on it. 13 February, 9 p.m. Article deposited. One small box. Loan amount paid, 10 shillings. Redemption deadline, 13th April, 9 p.m. So this photographic print is a redemption ticket for an article that was deposited 2 days prior to the incident on the omnibus, it would seem. Yes, a small box that doesn't tell us much about it, does it? Perhaps it contains some valuable mementos. I can't help wondering. Presumably, Mr. McGill did never redeem this article in question since he still had the ticket. So it isn't possible that the box is still present somewhere in the shop? Ah, yes, if it's somewhere McGill did deposit, we need to investigate. A redemption ticket issued from the pawnbroker owned by the victim, Mr. Windibank, in the form of some handwritten notes in the back of a photograph. Okay. Here, Gina, look at this. Nota, I wasn't saying you could have it. Oh, weren't you? Well, when someone says I can't have stuff, it makes me want it, see? So you better hand it over now. No, I'm not giving it to you. Let's see if we can go to the hospital. "16th April, St. Sinner's Hospital, Ward 3. Hurley. Oh. Mr. Sholmes is nowhere to be seen. No, that's strange. The nurse definitely said he was in the bed by the window, didn't she? Oh, I know what's probably happened. Hurley was being a big baby, and the bullet wound wasn't that bad after all, so he's been sent home. I'm not so sure about that, baby or not. There's no question that it was a fairly serious injury that Mr. Sholmes suffered. Oh dear. I do hope Mr. Sholmes will be alright. Hello, what have we here? The ward is off limits, no visiting. So what are you doing in here, eh? Well, I'll have you know, we're Hurley's next of kin, eh? Oh. Well, begging your pardon then, ma'am. A little lady and a curious Eastern pair. The great mystery solver as a mystery family, eh? If that's how you see us, sure. Where is he, Constable? Where's Hurley? I believe he is currently in the operating theater, ma'am, undergoing an extensive operation. Extensive? It's been several hours since we went in. Oh my. Has there been some kind of problem? Well, it doesn't appear to be working, you see. The anesthetic, that is. No? I have heard a report that the gentleman claims he may have had a little too much to drink last night. Coffee, that is. Ha. Anyway, I think it will be fair to assume that he won't be back here for several hours yet. I see. Thank you, Constable. Oh, poor Hurley. Mr. Naruto. Oh, yes? What is it, Miss Suzato? I hope you won't think me selfish, but do you think we could perhaps go visit Gina? I've just realized that I won't have another opportunity to say farewell. Yes, of course. We were just there. I wish I knew what Suzato-san was thinking. Anyway, let's go back to the prison then. What is this note here? Oh, well, I guess we can't examine that. What is this? There's notice board on the wall here. Look, let's see. What does it say? Thought of the day. On sending any vermin, calmly and discreetly inform matron. Oh yes, they have rats and mice in hospitals like this that love to feast on all the medicine. If you don't deal with them, there's nothing left to treat the patients. Rats and mice? Oh, I see. That is a rather old building. This is, I suppose. But the doctors and nurses are all very good, I hear. I certainly hope so, for Mr. Sholmes' sake. Okay. Gina, I wonder if you might hear me out. There's something I'd like to say. What? I'm so sorry to say that I must reluctantly bid you farewell. Eh? Farewell? Tomorrow I must begin my journey back home to Japan. I fear we may never meet again. Oh, right. I've had the pleasure of meeting so many lovely people here in London. I have so many wonderful memories. And yet, as things stand now, it will be a glum parting indeed. Poor Irish is so miserable. Susie. Well, that ain't my business. Both Iris and Mr. Naruto believe you to be innocent, Gina. They've put their faith in you. But somehow, you can't find it in your heart to put your faith in them. Yeah, that's right. I can't. What of it? It grieves me greatly to have to say goodbye to my friends when they are so clearly unhappy. Because of you. What? It's my fault? Yes. So I have one final request, Gina, before our paths never cross again. Right here and now. I want you to show both of them that you don't deserve the faith they've invested in you. Eh? Only by doing that will you truly be as alone as you claim to be. What are you talking about? What do you expect me to do, eh? You've told us that everyone lies. So prove it by admitting that one of your own untruths. What about what you said before, Ginny? You said something about unforgivable lies. You must tell Mr. Runo and Iris the truth now. That is my last request before I leave. My last request as a judicial assistant. No, I can't. Whatever these lies are, they're obviously weighing very heavily on Gina's mind. I think she covered for McGilded. That's what I think. Because remember, she defended McGilded. Gina, I could be wrong, but... is it something to do with what happened 2 months ago? Something about that trial? The one in which Magnus McGilded was acquitted. I knew it. The case, that mysterious murder that took place inside the omnibus. You were called as a witness by the prosecution. Is that what this is about? Yeah, you're right. Because in that trial, I lied. I lied like you wouldn't believe. Will you tell us about it now? The trial 2 months ago. Let's see what she lied about. Like you said, let's see if McGilded is guilty. It all happened 2 months ago. The coppers got a hold of me and showed me in the witness stand. And based on your testimony, Mr. McGilded was declared innocent. Yeah, well, the thing is, I lied about a whole bunch of stuff. I knew it. What sort of thing did you lie about? I was hiding under the seat that night. That was the truth. It was pitch black in that little cubby hole. I couldn't see a thing, and then... I heard that loud thud, like something falling on the floor. And that's when Mr. McGilded discovered you. Yeah. He pulled me out from under the seat and sat me next to the dead man. There wasn't much light to see by, but when I looked at me hands, I had the covers blood all over them. I was so scared I couldn't even speak. You had his blood on your hands. In other words, it was Gina that the witnesses on the roof deck saw through the skylight. Then Mr. McGilded started asking you questions, I suppose. Who you were and why you were hiding under the seat. Yeah, he did. Only, that's not all. What do you mean? I mean, he threatened me. I knew it. Threatened you how? He made me swear about what I'd seen and what I heard. And about what he was gonna do after the cove was found dead. He made me swear I wouldn't tell no one about any of it. If I did that, he said he'd let me scapper before the cops showed up. Gina, you must tell me what he swore you to secrecy about. What you saw, what you heard, everything. Did he really kill Mason? You said McGilded made you swear not to tell anybody what you saw. But you were in the pitch black compartment under the seat the whole time, weren't you? Yes, with Mr. McGilded sitting above your head, if I remember correctly. Yeah, that's true, but it was when I heard the thud of the cove lid in the floor, I let out a little scream, you see, couldn't help it. McGilded heard that and dragged me out by me arm, and that's when I saw it. It was on the floor next, I was on the floor next to the old geezer, what had been stabbed. A disc, all bright and shiny. A disc? Do you mean... Yeah, that's it. The one, what the D took off me at Windibanks. So that disc is something really important. So the music box disc was there on the floor of the omnibus. Not for long, McGilded spotted it straight away. He picked it up with smartish and stuffed it in his inside pocket. So that disc was in the omnibus 2 months ago at the scene of Mr. Mason's murder. And the bog trotter told me I weren't to mutter a word of it to no one. What you heard. 'Cause it was so dark under the seat in the cab. I was straining me ears the whole time. After a while I heard the door and footsteps inside the cabin. Presumably that was McGilded getting on board. Nah, not only him. Oh? 'Cause I could definitely make out the footsteps of 2 people. In that case, it wouldn't seem likely that it was Mr. McGilded and the victim. Mr. thrice-fired Mason. In his testimony during the trial, McGilded claimed he slept during the carriage ride. But whenever I'm in a carriage, I'm taken with a fierce tiredness, and I always succumb to it. And your own testimony, Gina, supported his. All I could hear was the Irishman snoring. Yeah, that weren't exactly true. Neither of them was asleep. I could hear him talking the whole time, in low voices. What? What were they talking about? Sorry, I don't know. The sound of the horses and the wheels was too loud. But that still tells us something. Mr. McGilded and the victim knew each other. Well, we know that because of the debt. So McGilded was lying, as I suspected. After the event. I knew it weren't gonna take long before someone raised the alarm the bloke had been killed. Yes, you were quite right. The other passengers on the roof deck noticed very quickly. So when the cab came to a stop, McGilded told me to hide back under the seat again. I climbed in and waited. The two coves from up top ran off to get the coppers. Yes, Mr. Fairplay and Mr. First. Right, and after they'd gone, McGilded asked the driver to do him a favor. A favor? Now then, fella, what I need to do is take this coat of mine, deposit it with a nearby pawnbroker. And for your troubles, let's see now. I'll give you 10 guineas. Wow, that's a lot of money then. A nearby pawnbroker, you mean on Baker Street? Yup, you got it. It was Windibank's. The coachee snapped up the money and ran off to pop this coat as fast as he could. So then there was no one left in the carriage. McGilded opened the box under the seat and let me get out of there, but not without conditions. I see. McGilded's conditions. What were McGilded's conditions then? For letting you go free, I mean. Not telling a soul, not for anything, about what I saw and what I heard. And there was something else as well. There's more? Yeah. This is the most important thing, he said. After sending the coachman on a little errand for me, with some small change in his hand. Now then, did you hear what I asked of him? Did you see anything at all? At all. You asked him to go pop your weasel, right? Aye. The fiend's taken me overcoat to deposit with pawnbrokers hereabouts. And I want you, lass, to take the redemption ticket for it. Do you understand? What? You want me to have the ticket? That's right. And I'll come fetch it from you later, sometime within the next 2 months. You're to hang on to it until then, is that clear? And whatever you do, don't lose it. Alright then. And in case I might happen to be delayed at all, you're to go to the pawnshop, Windibank's, so it is, and you're to extend the loan after 2 months is up. If you forget, the article will be forfeited, and any old fiend could come along and buy it. Hey, but I ain't got that kind of brass. Here's £5. That should be enough. Do we understand each other, lass? Don't try anything funny. If you go against me... Yeah, I get it. Good. And one more thing. In a few days from now, y'all be visited by the police, I've no doubt. The coppers. Aye. They'll come asking ye to take the stand in court to testify as a witness. So let's just have a wee chat about that, shall we? What is it that ye might say? And what is it that ye won't? And so he basically told her the story to say. After he'd gone over it all, I picked it, got as far from there as I could. The pawnbroker's ticket in some bushes in the scene. I went to fetch it the next day once it got dark. So McGilded planned it, and coerced Gina into giving false testimony. But then McGilded killed a guy. I know, it seems like he did now. I bet you're ready to string me up, eh? I lied. In that big old courtroom, I told some corkers. The thing is, he said he would make it so we couldn't live in the East End no more. That what he threatened me with. What a wicked man. He knew everything what went on in the back slums. He knew we had no one to look after us, and we was all just looking out for each other, getting by together. So what you mean Mr. McGilded would have... In an earbeat, he could have had the lot of us chased out there if he wanted. And then there would have... Where would he have gone, eh? Nowhere, that's where. So, I didn't have no choice. Thank you, Gina, for telling us everything. But, I'm for it now, eh? Go on, admit it. You must be livid. Well, you can make amends by doing me a simple favor. A favor? What? Sign the representation papers for tomorrow's trial. Eh? If you don't actually want me to represent you in court, you can rip it up later. But we need that paperwork or we can't investigate. The police won't let us. Investigate what? The scene of the incident last night. Mr. Sholmes was shot, you see. You what? Hurley's having a big operation right now, Ginny. Is it bad? Is he gonna be alright? Sholmes is gonna be alright, right? That's why I want to investigate, for Mr. Sholmes' sake as much as anything. Right. So what you're saying is, if I sign that bit of paper, everyone's happy, is that it? Something like that. Miss Suzato. Yes, of course. I have the representation papers here. I don't need no one to stick up for me, though. No lawyer or nothing. Poor Ginny. She seems so lonely. The paperwork signed by Gina put me in charge of her defense, showing this to Scotland Yard detectives gains us access to the crime scene. Well, at least this should mean we can investigate the scene at Windibanks now. Yes. And perhaps we can come back to visit Ginny when we're done there. I feel like we finally cracked Gina. She's opened up to us at last. Now I have her representation papers. No one else knows just what a responsibility that is. Anyway, for now it means Inspector Gregson can't stop us investigating at Windibanks. Although something tells me he's not going to be happy about it. Oh, to be continued. It leaves off here, I guess. So, I'll have the next part for you guys up as soon as I can. So, thank you guys for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. I hope that you guys enjoyed this part. I'll try to have the next part up for you guys as soon as I can. So, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, everyone.